Have you ever found yourself ugly crying in your office at 11 p.m., surrounded by half-empty coffee cups and thinking to yourself, I'm so stressed out. I didn't know this was going to be so hard. This is one of those things that hits close to home for every entrepreneur out there. The thing is, stress isn't going to go away, but we can manage it. That's why today I'm pulling back the curtain on 9 essential strategies to help you deal with that stress. You're listening to the Productive Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Tonia Kendrick, and I'm on a mission to help online business owners like you focus on the right things and take imperfect action. Every week, you'll get my best tips on everything from time management and content creation to planning effectively and managing mindset issues, all in an effort to help you become more productive. So let's jump into this episode. Tip 1, prioritize self-care. You know that saying about putting on your own oxygen mask first? Well, it's not just for airplanes. Let me share something personal. Back in my corporate days, I didn't make time for self-care. I often worked 70 to 80 hours a week, and you could see the impact in health numbers like my resting heart rate and blood pressure. I'm pretty sure I was on the path to a heart attack. When I left that world, I made a decision that taking care of myself was non-negotiable. Here's what I want you to do. Start small. For me, it was as simple as making sure I got 10,000 steps every day. I didn't start there. I had to build up to it. And now my step target is actually 12,500 a day. But the point is, I built it into my schedule, and I made it a hard rule. I've incorporated other self-care practices into my routine over the years, but it all started with that one commitment. So here's a quick action step. Pick one self-care activity that you can make a habit. Start small. Put it on your calendar right now. It might be exercise. It might be reading. It might just be carving out 15 minutes to sit quietly with a cup of your favorite tea. Tip 2, set clear boundaries. Let's drill down into boundaries because this is where a lot of us get stuck. When you work from home, it's so easy for business to bleed into every part of your life. I learned this the hard way when I found myself checking course comments during dinner and responding to DMs while trying to watch a movie. One of my personal boundaries is no eating lunch at my desk. Again, that's one of the things I used to do regularly in my corporate days. Now I make sure I take a dedicated lunch break every day away from my desk. Occasionally, I'll make a small exception and watch a course or summit video on my iPad while I eat, like a lunch and learn. But that's super casual. And if I find it affecting my energy levels, then I stop. Let me share some other boundaries that have made a huge difference. Set office hours. Office hours help you be more productive and focused. When you know your workday ends at a certain time, you'll be less likely to waste your work hours. No business activities after 8 p.m. Now let me be clear. I seldom work that late. And usually if I do any work after 6, it's just popping in for a few minutes to do just a quick thing. But I do have a hard rule of no work after 8. That is a hard boundary for me. Turn off notifications. Notifications are so freaking distracting. And constantly checking notifications really saps your productivity. So your action step is write down one boundary you need to set this week. Think about your work environment. What spaces are for work? What spaces are for living? Your work hours. When do you start? When do you finish? The technology you use. When will you check emails? When will you engage on social media? Your personal time. What times are completely off limits for work? Keep in mind, boundaries aren't about limiting your business. They're about creating space for both business and life. Tip 3, leverage technology. This is where we get to be smart about our work. Technology isn't just about having the latest gadgets, it's about finding tools that actually give you time back. When I first started my online courses, I was trying to piece together a bunch of different platforms to make everything work. Talk about stress. That's why I jumped on board early when ThriveCart came out with their course platform, Learn. I already used ThriveCart as my shopping cart, so it was an easy decision for me. Now I have everything streamlined and it's so much less stressful. Here are a few of my favorite tools that have cut my tech headaches and reduced my business stress. Again, ThriveCart for my course platform and shopping cart, ConvertKit for email automations, Asana for organizing everything from content calendars to project timelines, Tailwind because it lets me batch schedule pins way in advance, a password manager because let's be honest, who can remember all those passwords? I used to use LastPass, but I switched to 1Password about 18 months ago. Descript for video and audio editing. Now, editing is not my skill set, and I used to get really stressed out trying to use Camtasia and other things that I had tried. Descript solved that problem for me. It's so much easier to use. Canva for graphics creation. I used to use Adobe products exclusively, but Canva has progressed so much over the years and it's less complicated than Adobe. And to me, less complicated means less stress. So I canceled my Creative Cloud subscription last year. I think Adobe is probably still the best choice for professional designers, but for my needs, Canva is more than enough. Plus, it includes stock photos, so that just streamlines things even more. But here's the key. You don't need all the tools. Start with one that will solve your biggest headache right now. So your action step is to choose one area of your business that's either eating up too much time or causing you stress, and find a tool to help with that this week. Think of investing in the right tools as investing in your peace of mind. And I'll drop links to all the tools I mentioned in the show notes. Tip 4, delegate and outsource. Okay, this one is hard for me because A, I'm a perfectionist, and B, after years of managing large numbers of people, I don't want to hire full-time staff. But here's what I've learned. Delegation isn't just about business tasks, and outsourcing doesn't mean building a team. Let me share a personal example. When I worked in corporate, I had a housekeeper. But after I started my own business, I felt guilty about spending money on something I could do myself, especially since I was at home. But here's the thing. Having someone clean my house frees up several hours every week that I can spend either on my business or with my family. That's the kind of delegation that makes a real difference in your quality of life. So here's how I approach delegation now. Home tasks. Think cleaning services, lawn care, meal prep services, or even a regular grocery delivery. Business services. Using specialists for specific needs like a social media manager or someone who handles all your website updates. One-off projects. Instead of muddling through something that isn't in your skill set, hire someone on Fiverr who can knock it out quickly. The beauty of this approach is that you're not managing employees, you're buying back your time without the commitment of a full team. So your action step for this tip is to make 2 lists this week. Home tasks that drain your energy and could be outsourced, and business tasks that could be handled by a service provider or freelancer. Then choose one from each list to research solutions for. You don't have to hire somebody right away, but go ahead and start researching options. Tip 5, practice mindfulness and meditation. Now, don't click away when I mention meditation. I used to roll my eyes at this stuff too. But running an online business can feel like you're always on. There's always another email, another post, another course lesson to create, another client project to finish. That's exactly why we need tools to quiet our minds. I like to use guided meditations because then I don't have to think about what I'm doing, which is sort of the whole point. Plus, there's a built-in time limit. I've tried meditation apps on my phone. I have some guided meditations that I've gotten through bundles. But now I use meditations from YouTube. The yoga channel that I follow, and daily yoga is also part of my self-care routine, by the way. So the yoga channel that I follow has a few meditation episodes. So 3 times a week after I finish my yoga practice, I pull up a meditation episode. And I'll drop a link to that yoga channel in the show notes along with my favorite guided meditation. Oh, and here's a little pro tip. I like to do yoga and meditation at the end of the workday. It helps me transition out of work mode into personal time. The key here is to find what works for you. It might be journaling, it might be yoga, it might be meditation, or even just mindful coffee breaks. Your action step is to choose one mindful moment to incorporate into your day tomorrow, just one. Maybe it's taking 3 breaths before checking your phone in the morning, or walking around the block without looking at any screens, or finding a guided meditation to try. Tip 6, create a support network. Running an online business can feel incredibly isolating. Sure, we may be with people online all day, but it's different when you're the one always giving the support rather than receiving it. That's why building a real support network is crucial. This was a big shift for me. I went from trying to figure out everything on my own to being part of several communities where people actually get what I'm doing. There's something powerful about having people in your corner who truly understand what you're going through. Here's how I built my support system. I joined online communities specifically for online business owners and course creators. I occasionally participate in virtual co-working sessions. I maintain relationships with friends outside of business. I also used to have an accountability partner who was at a similar stage of business, and that was helpful. Remember, you don't need hundreds of connections. Sometimes just one solid relationship with someone who gets it can make all the difference. So this week, reach out to one person who could become part of your support network. It might be someone in a Facebook group you're in, it might be a local business owner, or even someone you follow on Instagram who seems to share your values. Tip 7, stay organized. Can we talk about how chaos breeds stress? I simply cannot move forward if my systems are a mess. One way that I avoid that chaos is by having an admin morning once a week, usually on Sundays, where I tackle a bunch of pesky admin tasks in one sitting. Some of the other ways I stay organized are I have a color-coded time blocking system. Oh, and I talk about time blocking in episode 18. I'll include a link in the show notes. I have a digital filing system in Dropbox. I do weekly planning and review sessions, and I do daily check-ins on my plan. So here's what I want you to do. Block out an hour one day this week for your own admin session. Maybe you organize one area of your business, or maybe you tackle a short list of admin tasks that you've fallen behind on. Whatever it is, just block out that 1 hour and devote it to admin work. Tip 8, focus on what you can control. This tip is straight from my heart to yours. I'm recording this episode on November 9th, and there is a lot happening in the U.S. and the world that I can't control, and boy, is it stressful. So here's my advice. Make a control list. Split your worries into things you can and can't control. Then focus your energy only on the first part of that list. So here's your action step. Write down your top 3 worries right now. Are any of them within your control? If yes, identify one specific action you can take to address it. Tip 9, celebrate small wins. Y'all, we need to talk about celebration. Especially in hard times, I think it's important to make sure we acknowledge our wins. I do this in my journal. Every day, I try to identify one good thing that happened the day before. Sometimes it's hard to come up with one thing, but even tiny wins are worth noting. Maybe someone new joined my membership, or I earned an unexpected affiliate commission, or I just finished a project I was working on. And then when I do my weekly review, I read over those things that went well during the week. It helps me remember that it's not all doom and gloom. Here's your action step. Start a wins journal today, or maybe you do a wins jar. Either way, write down one win from this week, no matter how small it seems. All right, friends, here's the thought I want to leave you with. Managing business stress isn't about eliminating it completely. It's about building a toolbox of strategies that work for you. So let's recap our action steps. Pick one self-care activity that you can make a habit. Write down a boundary that you need to set this week. Choose one tech tool to implement. Identify 2 tasks that you can delegate or outsource. Choose a mindful moment to incorporate into your day tomorrow. Reach out to a potential connection. Schedule your admin hour. Make your control list and start your wins journal. Remember, you're not just building a business, you're building a life. Don't wait for the perfect moment to start managing your stress better. Start now. Small steps really do make a difference. I'll be back tomorrow with day 10 of this 30 podcast episodes in 30 days series, and I'll be sharing how to overcome obstacles and stay on track with your goals. Until then, and before you go, if you like what you hear on the Productive Entrepreneur podcast, then come check out the Organized Business Toolbox. It's my monthly membership for solo entrepreneurs who want to feel in control and take imperfect action to move their businesses forward. When you join, you'll get instant access to the Training and Resource Vault, and a new toolbox or course drops every month. Plus, we have monthly Voxer office hours where you can privately ask me questions and get my direct feedback. If that sounds like something you need, the link is in the show notes, or visit toniakendrick.com, and I'll see you on the inside.